Well, there's this funny little thing called SDCC.
Oh my god, folks. We gotta talk about all the news that came out of Comic-Con, including the most cringeworthy of newses.
Do you want to start with that, or do you want to build to that?
I think I kind of want to start with it.
I think we have to, because, like, while we could build to it, it's going to be in the ether the entire time.
And it's been hanging over me for days.
Well, exactly. Like, the funny thing is, a little peek behind the curtain, we were doing the Deadpool and Wolverine review while Robert Downey Jr. was taking off his Doom mask.
Yeah, we had no idea.
Like, it was almost at the exact same time. Yeah. And so it was one of those things where we finished the show and I logged online. I was like, we could have done a live stream for like 4 hours today with everything that was going on. So, yeah, Robert Downey Jr.'s back.
Oh my god.
He's that one guy, he's back.
Not just him, the Russo brothers.
Well, that I'm less upset about. That I'm fine with, because the Russos were behind camera.
That to me is funny. They were, but it is funny to me. Well, they were behind except for when they were in their own movies. Like, they want to be the next Peter Jackson.
Please, Alfred Hitchcock.
Well, that's true. The part that kills me about that is these guys who build and have their career based on one property and then try to get away from it and then just bomb the hard. And then they're like, please take us back.
I'll come back. I'll do it. I'll do the thing that everybody knows me for.
Because the amount of money they're probably going to get to do these two movies, since they're doing the next two Avenger movies, that alone has got to just be astronomical.
I will say, it does seem like the Russos are better at playing in the toy chest than they are doing Red Notice.
Did they do the Gray Man, or that wasn't them?
Gray Man, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah. No, they're not great outside of the MCU.
Cherry is a good movie, but it's not like an incredible movie. There were some really, really powerful moments in Cherry. Credit where credit's due, but that also wasn't an action movie. That was a pathos-driven crime movie.
Yeah.
About addiction. So, like, very different. Very different worlds.
Super different.
If you ever want to see Spider-Man strung out on heroin, watch Cherry. Anyway, Robert Downey Jr.
So, Robert Downey Jr. Funny that this happened when we were doing our Deadpool and Wolverine review, because when we were reviewing it, we both kind of had that same...
You have to learn the right lesson from this.
This is a one-off. This is not going to fix the MCU.
And Kevin simultaneously was like, no.
And what do? They make the worst play that you could possibly fucking make by making Robert Downey Jr. Dr. fucking Doom.
You know what makes me the most crazy about it? Is that if we're recasting anyway, because silly me, I thought we were staying away from recasts. I thought we wanted everybody to play one character or like one body group character of, like, Lashana Lynch plays Binary and Maria Rambeau, but, like, it's kind of the same person.
Yeah.
Mads Mikkelsen is right there. And all he was in is that shitty Doctor Strange first movie, and he's the perfect Doom. So if we're recasting anyway, instead of doing the Superior Iron Man run, whatever it was that they did, where Doom and Iron Man swap bodies, and I hate this, man. I hate this. This sucks.
Well, and it's not, and you didn't even have to do Mads Mikkelsen. Somebody had pointed this out online, and it truly would have probably been perfect casting. I'm going to mispronounce his name. Nikolai
Coster-Waldau.
Waldau. He played Jaime Lannister.
Yeah.
He would have been perfect.
Yeah, he would have been
He has the
too.
look. He has the age.
We've seen him act against Pedro Pascal on Game of Thrones. And they were really good together.
There you go. And he's a great actor, and he would have been perfect. Why the fuck are you taking the number one hero of your universe? Everyone. He sacrificed himself to save the fucking universe. He is the reason the MCU is around. And you're going to bring that actor back as the fucking big bad of your next... It's dumb to a point that I was speechless when I saw it. I didn't know what to say.
It's really shown what the fan lines are. Because there's really just two camps on this. I haven't seen anybody who's kind of in the middle on it. The only people I've seen are filthy casuals, and I will call them filthy casuals here. I try not to use filthy when describing them, but they are filthy casuals. And they love it. The filthy casuals who don't have any stock in this and just kind of come by and see what's going on with Marvel every once in a while, they love it. They think it's the coolest, most fun, excellent thing. They can't wait. They're so excited. And then you have everybody who has actual stock in this shit. And all of us are looking at our Tesla stock just cratering. And we're just like, man, we're fucked. We're fucked. They didn't learn
Well, it's
anything.
like, this is like the Star Wars sequels. The people who really cared about it said, wow, these are shit. And the people that could give a fuck and just wanted something fun were like, oh, it's so great. Rise of Skywalker's the greatest thing ever.
I love new Star Wars. New Star Wars is incredible.
And it's like, that's what this is. But this is also proof that Marvel knows that they have literally fucked everything up. And the only way that they think they can fix it is to bring back the man that literally gave birth to the fucking
worst
MCU.
Part, is the deep, potent teenage boy scent of desperation that's coming off of this.
Oh, huge desperation.
Like, this is an incel level sense of desperation coming off of this from Marvel. Of just like, God damn it. You put yourself in this position. Why would you do this? Yeah. Why would you do this? You have so many things that you could be doing, and so much money, and so much time, and so much patience. And this is how you're going to revive everything after everything that happened? This was like the one out that you guys even had. Because this is to get rid of Kang. Kang Dynasty is no longer on the map. That's gone. It's off the map. They're not making that movie anymore. So this is it. This is what we're doing. Is there a plan? Because it really seems like this was your opportunity to set things right and have everybody on your side, because you're recasting somebody in this way under these pretenses, and you fully fucked it up. You fully fucked it up by just picking the one guy you absolutely could not pick.
And it's not only that, it's, in fact, you will, in your most popular movie since Endgame being Deadpool and Wolverine, a good portion of the movie was spent making fun of how bad the multiverse is. So here you have an opportunity to kind of start to distance yourself, because it's obvious by the early footage of the next Captain America movie, they're not going to really deal with the multiverse. So it's like, okay, maybe start leaning away from it and distancing yourself from Kang. And, Loki, you could say at the end of season 2, he kind of brought the multiverse together, so you can kind of get away from it. No, you're going deep by having RDJ playing he's obviously going to be playing a Tony Stark variant who is Victor Von Doom or something.
Is he a Tony Stark variant? Is he a version where Dr. Doom and Tony Stark swap bodies? Is it actually Doom and it just happens to look like Robert Downey Jr.? Is he never going to take off his mask, and so it's just going to be his voice, and that's how they're going to get away with it? Like, what's the actual plan? I need to know the actual plan, because from a nerd canon perspective, and I hate to say this, yes, because there's precedent, we can do this. I hate that we can do this, but there is precedent. We could do it. However, you'd have to have a really good reason to do it, and I can't imagine you have that. Yeah. I just can't imagine you have an actual valid, reasonable cause to do it this way. Yeah. To me, this just reeks of desperation. Just like the worst level of desperation. Like me in high school levels of desperation. Like just fawning after anybody who gives you even the slightest bit of attention. It just sucks so bad. And they didn't need to do it.
And the frustrating thing is the early footage that they showed of the Fantastic Four from Comic-Con made it look like they are actually leaning into canon really hard, because there's a lot of things about this. It was just some short footage they showed, but it looked like, okay, like it looks like they're actually following kind of similar to what you need to do with the Fantastic Four, and then you do this.
Yeah, no, this is just a big old rock in the lake.
It's so fucking stupid.
It's a celestial sticking out of the ocean.
Which we're going to have to talk about that, too. Because that is getting referenced finally.
Is it?
Oh, it is. But you're not going to like it.
Oh, how are they referencing it? I haven't seen this.
Okay, so are we ready to move on to Captain America?
Brave New World.
Not Brave New World. Okay. They have confirmed that that's how they're going to introduce adamantium into the MCU, is that it came from that celestial sticking out of the ocean.
Fucking dumb. You don't need to do that.
You don't, but that's what they're doing now.
But adamantium is an alloy of vibranium and steel. It's what happens when you take Wakandan vibranium and regular old-ass steel, and you melt them together and you combine it, and it turns into adamantium. This isn't some crazy scientific off-world thing. This is something that you can make in your backyard if you have the right ingredients. And why? Again, why? To what end? For what possible reason? It makes no fucking sense. You've made this so much more difficult than you need it to be.
They did.
All you need to do was cast the right guy. All you need to do was just follow the canon.
Yep.
God willing, what does Antarctic vibranium do in this goddamn world? Because it does some crazy ass shit in the usual world. So what's it gonna do here?
And it's like, just when you think it can't get any worse, and then you see that, and you're like, God damn it. And then, like,
Jesus fucking Christ.
Even the, you see a little bit of footage of the Red Hulk. Thunderbolt Ross turns into the Red Hulk during the press conference.
It's gonna suck. It's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be really bad. At best, it still has to look like Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
So this isn't gonna work, guys. Yeah. Guys, this isn't gonna work. Once again, can I go back to my previous comments vis-a-vis casting?
And especially, I think we've talked about this before, they have a younger actor who's played that character before. Sam Elliott, as old as he is younger than Harrison Ford, and he has played Thunderbolt Ross. And you could have easily just said...
And everybody would be big into it.
Oh, that would have been huge! That would have been a massive... But bring in some 80-year-old guy... Now, I love Harrison Ford, but after that last Indiana Jones, man, he's just way too old, especially to be playing the Red Hulk. And then they're saying that not only is the Red Hulk in it, but Mark Ruffalo's Hulk's going to be in it also. And it's like,
Scar's probably going to be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
They're basically going to do a cold run on World War Hulk.
Yeah, which sucks because they've already fucked it up, and we've already talked about that a million times. Planet Hulk and World War Hulk have been screwed up. It's the same as if the Snyderverse continued and they tried to do Doomsday again. It's like, no, you fucked it up already. You can't. Put it back in the bottle.
I'm waiting to find out because I'll take money on this. Mm-hmm. I bet you we have more time spent with the leader than we do Betsy Ross. I'm guessing Betty Ross is not going to be in this movie.
No.
Even though they have all these other references to Incredible Hulk and everything else going on, I will bet you real money that Betty Ross not going to be in the movie.
No, and once again, why would she? She should have been in so many of these Marvel movies that have dealt with the Hulk and her father. It's like, it's the Mary Jane. She would have
been great in She-Hulk.
It's the Mary Jane.
She would have been a great addition in She-Hulk. Yeah. And it's just, you're not doing it.
No.
You're just not. You insist on playing in the toy box, but you won't play with any of the toys. Yeah. So you just get them all out, and then you're like, look what I did. It's like, you didn't do anything.
Oh, I don't even want to bring up She-Hulk. I'm pissed at that actress.
I'm annoyed that people are now saying that the only reason people didn't like She-Hulk, but they do like Deadpool 3, is because Deadpool is male and She-Hulk is female, and that's the only reason. Yeah. No.
That pisses me
off
out
so bad. You're out of your goddamn head. That's the most myopic viewpoint I've ever heard.
I agree.
You're out of your head. One is written like trash, and one is written specifically for the fans.
Yes.
So you tell me again about how these are the same, because last time I looked, the Wrecking Crew was in She-Hulk. You had a chance. Yeah. You had your opportunity. This is what you did with it.
Deadpool, walk of shame. Go fuck yourself.
This has nothing to do with gender and has everything to do with bad writing.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 1,000%. All right. So, Fantastic Four. So, it is Fantastic Four First Steps, which I think that title kind of sucks.
Again. Well, they're doing the same thing they did with Spider-Man, where they're tying the title into how everybody feels. So it's like, oh, everything's home with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Even though there's never been a fucking thing, because now Spider-Man is home with Marvel. And they're going to be doing the same thing. It's going to be first steps, first family, first, whatever. Mm-hmm. Because the Fantastic Four were the first big Marvel property. And it's like, okay, you guys can't even name things well.
They can't name shit well.
That's what blows my mind, is you can't do anything right. Like, there was a time when you could spit in the corner and everybody would be like, oh, wow, look at him go. And now it's just like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is happening?
And I don't know if I quite like the tone that they're showing so far. It has that, like, WandaVision type thing of the first few episodes where it was like an old-timey, like 60s sitcom type of feel.
If they can land it, I'm okay with it. If they can land it.
Well, that's what I'm worried about. They're not good at doing artistic things.
No. They're inviting me into this biplane.
Yeah.
They're like, we can fly it. And it's like, I would love to fly in a biplane. Do you have to be the pilot? Can someone else come in and do this? Because I would rather have someone else.
The pilot has a blindfold and it's flying towards a mountain. That's the problem.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, as much as I want this to be a thing, and God, I really do want it to be a thing, I just don't trust you.
No,
because
not
why
even a
would
little.
I?
Not even a little.
Because why would I? What in the world have you done to gain any level of trust from me?
I don't know.
Nothing.
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 So and then we got to move on to Thunderbolts. They gave like a first official clip, and they had some of the cast talking. When the big news of your panel is that Bucky's got long hair again. That's all I heard from one of like, oh, Bucky's got long hair again. I'm like, really? If that's
Jesus
what you're
Christ.
leaning on, you're fucking in trouble.
Well, like, I have a lot of questions. I have several questions. First and foremost, Taskmaster was such a success that you're bringing her back.
Yeah.
Just a wild, wild success that we absolutely needed to revisit and not just leave buried in the ground as a giant fucking failure.
But now, are they going to? That's the question. Are they going to try to do like this is a different Taskmaster from a different universe, and this one is how Taskmaster should really be?
Fucking better. And if they do, they better get him a better costume or her a better costume. It can still be a woman. I don't care about that. That's not the problem I have with it. The problem I have with it is that you just destroyed the character.
Yeah.
The same way you destroyed Echo. It has nothing to do with the gender. It has everything to do with the fact that you wrote the character so poorly that they don't even resemble the actual character.
And you could get someone like, get some kind of comedian, some comedic actress to just say, you don't have to do the stunts, but play the character and do the voice and be the Deadpool, the female Deadpool, pretty much. That's PG-13.
Aquafina.
Yeah. No, fuck you.
Aquafina.
Shut up. I can't believe you just said that.
No. I'm glad you're on board. Aquafina is the right answer.
I said
we're recasting within universe anymore. The rules don't matter. Aquafina.
I said comedic. She's not funny. She's
to
not
some
funny.
People.
The only thing funny about her is how mad it makes me every time I see her in something now.
No, the other thing that blew my mind is that we're bringing back Ghost. Didn't Ghost lose her powers?
Yeah, and I don't
Ghost
get
had her
it.
powers removed by Jan through stupid subspace magic.
Yeah, I don't get it.
What am I supposed to do with this?
But like, why?
But why? Like, that's the other thing. There's an entire cast of actual Thunderbolts that have more credibility than this B squad you're putting together.
Yeah.
Of characters that no one remembers and no one cares about. I love David Harbour.
Yes.
What the fuck are we doing? So you're not going to do Mech 5? We're not going to do Atlas? We're not going to do Songbird? We're not going to do any of these guys?
Nope.
None of them? We're not going to have Zemo? Zemo's not going to be on the team? Zemo, who's in universe and has been given the sock face, he's not going to be on the team? Yeah. Are we sure? But are we sure?
And you have
Hawkeye?
like we're not gonna,
Anybody?
We're not going to get into the review, but my son and I just finished The Falcon and Winter Soldier. You have Sebastian Stan and Wyatt Russell, and it's like, okay, you have U.S. Agent and Bucky, and like you said, Zemo was in that show.
Yeah.
Break him out of the I can't remember. Did they bring him to the? Why can't I think about that floating prison in the middle of the ocean?
Oh, the raft.
The raft. They brought him. The Wakandans brought him to the raft at the end. It's like, you just fucking break him out. It's fucking the first Captain America went in there and broke people out. Go break him out.
Well, like, not only that, the Thunderbolts are supposed to be the answer to the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of villains turned heroes. So do the actual canonical story where Zemo pretends like he's turned a new leaf. And have Zemo ultimately be the bad guy at the end of the movie. Who's been helping to orchestrate this whole thing to make himself look good.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what Helmet Zemo would fucking do.
Absolutely.
And so, like, again, guys, Kevin, it's you, Kevin. I'm not even talking to guys. Kevin, come here. This is not hard, okay? A baby could do this. Babies have done this.
Yes.
All right? There have been episodes of the superhero show that are better than anything Marvel's produced. All right? You need to be better. You need to be better at everything. Because this will not stand. This sucks. This all sucks. And it's not good. And it's 100% on you, Kevin. So fucking stop.
Yeah.
Or else I'm going to leave you home alone. Kevin. Fucking Kevin.
So I want to bring up, I didn't know however many things you wanted to talk about other than what we just discussed.
There were a few trailers from Comic-Con I wanted to bring up, but that was really it. I didn't have much else to say.
Okay, there's one thing I want to bring up when we talk about the trailers. Did you see the clip from season 3 of Strange New Worlds where they all turn into Vulcans?
Oh, I can only imagine.
It is so incredible.
I saw that Nurse Chapel posted that she had Vulcan ears.
Yes.
I didn't see any context for why.
The clip made me so happy for season 3 because, we were kind of concerned, can they continue along this path of being great? And it's Pike and Chapel and a couple of the other members have to kind of what's happened with Spock, where he took a serum to become Vulcan, or remember that from season 2, I think it was. So they all take it and they all become 100% Vulcan, and they're making fun of Spock because he's only half Vulcan. And it's so brilliant because they're like, oh, well, you're all 100% Vulcan. They all look at him, they're like, well, he's not. He's only half Vulcan. And I'm dying because the look on Spock's face, like, what the fuck, man? I'm fucking Spock. And they're all, dude, and Pike, he's got like a flat top with the fucking Spock ears. He looks so good. So good. I highly recommend looking that up. I can't wait. Dude, I can't wait.
I can't wait for that show to come back. It's one of the few bright spots in nerd fandom that I have these days.
Yeah.
Is waiting for Strange New Worlds to come back.
And they introduced a couple interesting Star Trek shows. There's a Starfleet Academy, which I don't know. There's a live action comedy show, Star Trek comic show. So I'm assuming it's going to be like a live action Lower Decks, but I don't know how that's going to be.
Those are always so dicey.
They really are.
Those are so dicey. NBC tried to produce so many of those for superhero worlds and what have you. And it's such a strange thing to try and walk.
And it's the only one that I'm kind of interested in is they have a new one called Star Trek Section 31. And I
was going to bring up Section 31.
Yeah, it's Michelle Yeoh's character from Discovery, who's pretty much running like a rogue, let's say CIA-like division of Starfleet.
Yeah.
That does missions that are off book and no one can know that they're part of Starfleet and all this. That could be cool.
I think that looks really good.
Because I did like her character.
Just the look of that show and the premise of what they're giving us, I think that could be really, really good. I think that's a solid fit.
I hope so.
Something that doesn't actually have anything to do necessarily with Starfleet, but still takes place in the Star Trek universe. That's rather untapped land usually.
Had that, yes, it is a movie.
I was going to bring up the Lord of the Rings trailer that dropped right around Comic-Con.
Oh, God.
The Rings of Power, which my overwhelming sense coming out of that trailer was like, okay, this looks like it could be really good. Is it going to be really good?
See, they have so much ground to make up. Like, to me, did they learn from season 1 and the criticism they got from it? Or are they just going to continue to lean into this storyline?
Yeah.
Because, like, if it's like season 1, I'm going to be so disappointed.
Well, we just seem to be wandering in these Middle-earth wastes of just, like, we can't seem to figure out, are we following canon? Are we inventing stuff? Are we kind of inventing stuff to fill gaps in canon? If it's that third one, that's fine. Yeah. If it's just straight invention, that gets real dicey. You have to really prove it to me when you do that kind of shit. And I want this to be good, but you said that Isildur died last season. Yeah. So I'm just like, what do you want me to tell you? That it's going to work? I can't tell you it's going to work because everything I've seen so far, it looks great on paper. All of it looked great on paper. But then when we actually got the reports in, it's like, oh, there's some just really devastating decisions being made here.
But then you also got to be concerned anytime they're like, hey, guess what? Tom Bombadil's in this. And they just throw out names. It's like, okay, you got Tom Bombadil in it, but what about the story?
Are you going to get it right? Are you going to get it right?
Exactly.
You have Eagles in it. Are you going to get it right? You have the Men of Numenor in the last season. Didn't really get that one right.
No.
So I have to wonder. You can tell me of a Balrog. Do you actually have a Balrog, or do you have a Balrog at the last 5 seconds of the last episode?
But that's 5 seconds of Balrog.
That's what I'm saying, man. It counts in the sense that, yes, you did get the paper in. It was supposed to be a 300-word essay, and you wrote about 30 words on a single sheet of paper, and it was 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
This is technically an entry. It's not a good entry. It's not going to win you gold stars.
See, that's my problem with the Tom Bombadil thing. They got to have him sing.
Yeah.
And the songs have to be good.
Yeah.
It can't just be some, like, niche little, let's have him sing once and make it just, like, a song just to make everyone happy. It's like, no. You need to nail that. You know, once again, I know we've discussed this before. Your mother and a lot of the Lord of the Rings book lovers didn't like the movie because he wasn't in it. It's like, okay, well, now you're going to put him in something. You better fucking get it right.
Well, and not only that, the premise and argument for why you take out Tom Bombadil still holds weight.
Yes.
The reason you take Tom Bombadil out is because he breaks the canon.
Yes.
He takes all these rules that we have firmly set and he says, fuck the rules. Yep. I'm beyond the rules. And you're just supposed to be like, oh, is he going to be coming back at any point? Yeah. Like, can you imagine if the people that talk about Fly You Fools and the Eagles, if they knew about Tom Bombadil, it would rock their brains. Yeah. So if you're going to bring him in, you still have to contend with that. And that's still a part of what you have to deal with. So how are you going to do that? I wish I had more faith that you had answers, you know, because I don't think you do.
I don't think they do either.
I think you do. I really, really worry that you've talked yourself into having answers for these things. But you really don't.
And I mean, they're still referring to Gandalf as the stranger.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it's fucking Gandalf. Just start calling him Gandalf.
Yeah. You might as well have him start meeting up with the wizards, the Maiar.
The Maiar.
You know, like that would be a better storyline, is him finding the other Maiar and putting things together that way. But like, are we going to do that? No, probably not.
No.
So
he's going to be hanging out with the Harfoots, just walking around with the pre-hobbits. And you're gonna be like,
dude. I just don't get this. I want this to work. I really want this to work, but I just look at it and I don't have any reason to believe that this will work.
I agree.
Because what have you given me? What have you given me to put my hat on?
Not much.
Season 1?
Not much. So we did get a stupid, we got the classic DC logo, blah, blah, blah. I could give a shit about the fucking logo. For DC Studios, there wasn't much about the Superman movie. I know it finished filming, I think yesterday or the day before it finished principal photography.
It just finished filming, and James Gunn has gone around and done his rounds of saying what he thinks the movie's supposed to be. And the most recent interviews I saw, he was talking about how in this movie, we're going to explore Superman being a truly good man surrounded by a world of not good men. Okay.
Dude, I'm so nervous.
What the fuck does that mean?
I'm so nervous.
What the fuck does that mean? That's word salad. That doesn't mean anything. You know? Tell me that we're going to do the world of cardboard, and then I'll be on board.
Yeah.
Until you tell me we're going to do a world of cardboard, I ain't on board. You haven't given me anything. You've given me knee pads and shoulder pads. Or weird piping. It's either weird piping or padding. There's no real in between.
Dude, I'm so scared. I'm not going to lie. I'm terrified that this is just going to be a disaster.
I don't know if it's going to be a disaster, but I think it's going to be a nothing. You know, which might be worse. I think it might be Superman Returns, of just all this pomp and circumstance leading up to it, and then the thing comes out and everybody's just like, who fucking cares?
Yeah. Well, in that movie, you know, I do have some parts of that I like just because I did like Brandon Roth, and it was so boring, though.
The problem is the plot.
The plot was terrible.
The plot is just not good.
Why has it got to be Land with Lex Luthor again?
Well, we're doing Land with Lex Luthor. We're doing the illegitimate son of Superman and Lois Lane. We're doing all this other stuff. James Marsden is here. Why are we doing all this shit, man? Just do Superman. This isn't hard.
I was listening to Kevin Smith was talking about Superman Returns because he goes, I never would have guessed that movie would have been as boring as it was. But he goes, the part I don't understand is when Lois goes to the hospital at the end, her reaction should be, when did you rape me? Because in her mind, he made her forget about their relationship. But then she's like, this kid is yours. Okay, so when did you rape me, Superman? Why are you... Well, how would I get pregnant with your child? We never had sex.
Yeah.
And it's like, that kills me about that movie, because it's like, that's true. She doesn't remember their relationship, so how would they have a baby together?
This is always the thing. When you're going to return to a universe, you have to know what you're doing. That's why Deadpool 3 worked, is because when he went back and he returned to this universe, he found the best parts and the parts that don't work great, and he used them in a really productive, effective way that was funny and entertaining, while also doing some great fan service stuff on the side. If you just go in and you just don't think about what's happened previously, what the characters have been through, what these particular versions of the characters have been through, what's been done in other Superman movies or media. You have to start looking at cartoons because the cartoons have had by far the most successful version of Superman on screen, in my opinion.
Oh, easily.
Even more so than Christopher Reeve, in my opinion, at this point. I think more people identify with the cartoon versions of Superman than they do the Christopher Reeve Superman. So I look at what they're doing with this, and I just don't get it. You know, Man of Tomorrow, okay, I get it. My Friend Superman, I want to watch My Adventures with Superman. I want to watch that because it looks really interesting, and it looks like they do some really interesting things. Even we're going to be talking about Crisis in a little bit. Even there, they do some interesting things where you have two Supermen, one older, one younger, and like, what are you going to do to set yourself apart? It can't be that you have Guy Gardner in a bad wig and Mr. Terrific and Hawkgirl, and that's what sets you apart. It has to be something to do with Superman and who he is as a person. It can't be that Clark Kent gives himself a perm every time he goes between Clark and Supes. Like, you gotta give me something.
That's funny. That's true.
That's what they're doing.
I'm glad you put it like that.
I get it. I have questions.
Lots and lots of questions. All right, anything else you wanted to talk about Comic-Con wise?
The only other thing that I really wanted to bring up was Hellboy. They released a new trailer for this Hellboy small feature.
Yeah.
It's like a more of an indie Hellboy called Hellboy the Crooked Man. I think that this would be really good with different casting.
Yeah.
I do not buy this tiny Hellboy. He is too small. He is just too small. And the hand of Doomfist.
Yes.
I can appreciate doing smaller budget, and I think smaller budget is the way to go. I just look at this and I don't know that it's gonna work. I think it's gonna have to be one of those things where you have to be like, okay, so Hellboy doesn't look like Hellboy. He's missing about 200 pounds of muscle. And there's no one else from the agency with him. It's just Hellboy. And there's not really going to be a whole lot of superheroing. It's going to be more of a horror movie with Hellboy in it. These are all interesting concepts, but I just don't know how they're going to align in a satisfactory way.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, and I think the problem Hellboy's always going to run into is those first two that Del Toro directed were so great visually and stylistically that it's tough to reboot that character without having that charm.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate like an R-rated and a violent or even a scary, but that's the reason why the David Harbour one didn't work is they leaned too much into CGI. And Mila Jovovich, I'm sorry, she should not be in a fucking movie again. I nothing against her. But it's like, dude, you had a bad villain, you had too much CGI. You got away from what made... Like, the troll market in the second Hellboy is so incredible, and it's all practical. And it's like, fuck.
Well, that's the thing, is that they still have a giant CGI monster in Hellboy, too.
Yeah.
They have that life force monster that just makes things grow. That's still a CGI monster. That's still a good scene.
Because they did it well.
It's the vision, it's the storytelling, and it's the casting. And it's, if you don't have a good director, if you don't have the right people behind it with a good vision who are excited, this is the same thing we talked about with Deadpool 3. The real reason Deadpool 3 works is because you have an artistic person with a specific vision and desire to do something outrageous that has never been done before. And you just let them do that. Just get out of the way, you know, and don't micromanage, don't do all this other shit. And I want this to work. I love the idea of a low budget Hellboy. I look at it and I just don't see it. I just don't see Hellboy when I look at this guy.
Don't underestimate power of Ron Perlman. That's pretty much the...
Yeah, I know. All right, Ron Perlman could still do it.
Yeah, so as he could.
I'm going to give you the chance to do this because I have one thing that I want to say about it, and that's all I want to say about it. Do you want to talk about Joker?
Not really, because I still don't know what to make of the movie.
The only thing I have to say is you guys keep on... This is the same thing I've said about everybody else. You guys keep on following the wrong trails. Keep going down the wrong rabbit holes. This is not Harley Quinn. You just fully missed the point of Harley Quinn. So why are we doing Harley Quinn?
Yeah, I think
this.
That's the thing that really jumps out to me. It's like you could, I mean, even in the bad Suicide Squad movie, they introduced Harley Quinn the right way, where she was the psychologist of the Joker.
She's
and
a doctor.
Drove her nuts and created Harley Quinn.
And if she's already a Joker fanatic anyway, why not have her be one of the doctors in the institute instead of one of the patients? I just don't.
It doesn't
get
make
this.
that doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand.
And but like that's going to be such a central part
Unless
of it.
that is, you don't see that happen. Like she was a psychologist and went crazy, and that's just them interacting in the hospital now that they're both nuts.
That's what I've thought, is that she was already committed, but like no, that's still not the story. Yeah. That's still not the right story. And it's, if you're doing this story where she's obsessed with the Joker, why not actually do the story where she's obsessed with the Joker? I don't understand changing these essential elements to do what? Yeah. To have this, and I'm still frustrated by this incredibly D-grade Joker. Everybody walks around being like, oh, Joker's amazing, Joker's amazing. I am fully in the camp of the people online that are like, are you kidding me? This Joker would face off with the worst Batman, with the George Clooney Batman, and get his ass handed to him. The Adam West Batman could kick the shit out of the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Okay? He's a bad Joker. He's not good at anything he does. So I don't get this. I don't get any part of it. The first film is a full pastiche on just a bunch of Martin Scorsese movies, and then a bad Joker. What is there here? There's nothing here. What am I supposed to take from this? This is an ash heap of nothing.
See,
anyway, I'm not looking forward to it.
After the Matt Reeves Batman came out, I think they needed to rethink about making another Joker. Because it's like, they're kind of doing things right. Because there was also some more news about the Penguin TV show, how it takes place in between the first and the second Batman, and Robert Pattinson, as we had hoped, is going to be in the series. So we're going to see him as Batman in the series. But it's like, once that movie came out and was the success that it is, and as good as it is, I wish they kind of, because once again, I liked Joker. I still, my favorite Joker is still, if we're not talking animated Joker, because that'll be Mark Hamill. My favorite Joker is still Jack Nicholson, to be honest with you. I loved his Joker in the fucking first Batman. But it's like, if you're not going to do Batman and the Joker together, like, consider yourself, you got away with the first one. People enjoyed it. You won Oscars. Now that you have, like, this solid Batman, even prior to the reboot of the DCU that Gunn is doing, maybe don't do another Joker movie. Once again, I still want to see it. I love Lady Gaga. I'm very curious to see how they do the musical portions of it. For the little bits we heard of Joaquin Phoenix's voice, it wasn't the best. So I'm kind of curious, like, having him singing opposite Lady Gaga. It's like, okay. I am curious for the movie. And once again, the trailer doesn't show me enough to get me concerned. I just, once again, I'm curious to what DC's doing.
My thing is that I already didn't have faith in the project. And then I saw the trailer and I was like, so we're going through all this trouble and this is the end result? This is where you're taking me? What was the fucking point of this? I'm not going to give you my time, and I'm not going to give you my energy, because this is fucking bullshit. I saw the original Joker under protest, and unless you make me see this one, I have no intent of seeing
I don't.
This one.
I don't think this is one I'll actually see in the theater. I think this will be a rental when it comes out.
I just find everything about this series horrifying.
Yeah.
From the adaptative choices to the incredibly, almost offensively stolen filmmaking tactics. Todd Phillips is not a good director. Watch Hangover 2 and 3 and tell me that Todd Phillips is a good director.
Well, you just got to redo the same thing.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is just terrible, man. You're ripping off somebody else. You have no actual creativity. Is this going to be a jukebox musical? Because that's the only way that I think this could work, is because you would use popular music, because that's your thing, right? You just take everybody else's stuff and you turn it into something new, even though it's not new in any capacity.
No, they made this, like, it really does look like it's going to be a Fred Astaire.
I don't think it is. I think it's going to want to be Fred and Ginger. I think it's going to want to be Fred and Ginger, but it ain't going to be Fred and Ginger.
That's the tone I got from that trailer, is a Fred and Ginger movie.
I did not get that tone at all. I got the tone of desperation, and just an effort to try and make something evil artistic. And that's all I got out of that trailer. And no sign of adhering to canon. still this idea of this anarchist who goes around killing people as a justified madman because he had no sex and a bad relationship with his mom. Like, this is your God? This is your God? This has always been my reaction to the Joker movies. This is your God. This guy who doesn't know how to have sex and is a tiny little nothing of a man who could be blown over by a spring breeze. This is your God. Are you sure?
I'm not going to bring up his name, but look at who's most people's God nowadays.
Orange Bastard, man.
Orange
We aren't
Bastard.
talking
So,
about
I mean,
Orange Bastard.
if you can make Orange Bastard your God, you can easily make freaking the
That's
Joker your God.
brainwashing, man. That's
All right,
that's
so-
its own monster.